What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. I'm Zachary, Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu. What's up, man? How we doing?
Good, man. Back in Charlotte.
Yeah.
It was quite the weekend. Sorry I didn't get to see you. It was very, very busy.
It was busy.
But it was fun though, not everybody gets to have their alma mater play on a Friday, meaningful playoff game, and have their NFL squad play the next day, the Panthers.
Busy
So
weekend for you.
me and my wife drove down to Atlanta. It was only a 3.5 hour drive. So we drove down and made a date day of it. Got there, worked out, got lunch, got a beverage, chatted with some Indiana fans at our hotel because they were everywhere.
What hotel were you at?
We stayed at this place called the Fourth Hotel. So our thing is, if we're gonna go to a hotel out of town, they have to have like the amenities
It's gonna be nice
to like make it worthwhile. The room itself was nice, but it was very loud. I'm not a big like, okay, it's time to go to bed. Why can I hear the conversations next door type of thing? But it was a good trip. Me and my wife had fun. She had fun.
That's good.
Got a chance to see Hello T. Obviously saw Kenyon. Saw some of the young guys from last year, Trayshawn and
Tez and Brandon and Birch. Yeah, there's some good guys there.
So it was a fun, experience to be able to take on the honorary captain duties and go out there on the field and get all these text messages of people saying, "Oh, I saw you on the sideline with Nick Saban."
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, but it was very disappointing. Needless to say, like the outcome of what many have thought was going to be a matchup for a little bit of redemption. And it turned out that Indiana is just a freaking powerhouse.
I think they're that good, man. Yeah, we're definitely going to dive into that soon. First, I wanted to apologize for how long it's taken us to get this episode out. I know it's been a couple days now since the game actually happened, a few days, but I think that it, at least for me personally, I needed a couple days to like get my thoughts in order and just kind of see how I was feeling and understand that.
Yeah, I think it was wise.
I think so too. We could have gone right after, but that would have been a much different podcast. We're more level-headed now. So, unfortunately, we've got another, what I like to call a therapy session on our hands today. We did it last year after Oregon's blowout loss in the Rose Bowl to Ohio State. Now we need to do it again after a blowout loss in the Peach Bowl to Indiana. So we're going to talk out our feelings for a while and then cover some news. There's a lot of transfer portal stuff, some NFL decisions, some off-season news to get to. But that all sound good to you?
Yeah, it sounds good, man.
All right, let's start. I've got no notes here. This is an open discussion, no judgment, no constrictions. This is a safe place. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah, just basically straight sushi, raw.
Yeah,
raw. I like it.
Yeah. Let's hear it. Yeah, how you feeling? How did you feel after the game? How has it changed from then till now?
After the game, I was hurt, and hurt not because of my own personal reasons. I don't have any personal ties besides the fact that I played there, and this team has gone further than what my team when I played could even sniff, right?
Yeah.
So this is nothing in the sense of oh, you guys should have done this, should have done that. I think they really, did what everything they possibly could outside of, Dante Moore. It sucks, but it does come down to quarterback play. And we knew that going into this game. I think we shied away from talking about it even because it's like, don't want to talk about, the obvious here. Dante Moore, you got to play a good game. But
we even said that. We said for them to win, he had to play an A game. And
Yeah.
immediately it was obvious that he was not going to play in a game.
Yeah. You can tell, man, like, moments like that, you have to rise to the occasion. And
Mhm.
it's not just making plays. Sometimes the big plays are just making the right play
I'm just not,
and
yeah, not making
not
mistakes.
not not making mistakes. Turning the ball over, it won't get the job done. I don't
Mhm.
care who you are. It's on a national television level, on an opportunity to get redemption. You're in playoffs and you got one game away until you reach the championship. And Indiana, we know who they are. They're a disciplined grown man football team. They
Mhm.
carried the vibes of an Alabama-esque um, Nick
Yeah.
Saban type mold of a team
Mhm.
where they made no mistakes. Their quarterback played very solid ball. I mean, when I say solid, I mean A1, 90%
It's
completion
perfect.
pass. Like that's, I don't know where you're,
Five
if anyone,
touchdowns.
yeah. And then for him to be the salt of the earth
Mhm.
and you can't be mad at him. You can't be mad at
Yeah.
Indiana. I admire Signetti
Yeah.
and the Indiana coaching staff and the team and the players. I hope they go all the way. Watching how they've gone about their business the first time out there in Eugene, and then to basically double down on themselves. Like, hey, you guys are gonna have to not make any mistakes to beat us.
Mhm.
Um, I think the first play was it had me kind of scratching my head as far
Mhm.
as the decision making there. It was
Yeah.
almost kind of like pre-snap read. He already knew where he was going. And if
Mhm.
that was the case, that was the wrong decision.
Mhm.
So it's like, what are our keys here? Like, what
Yeah.
were we talking about before the game? What was our anticipations going into the game? Uh, the readiness, I don't think was all the way there.
So you felt hurt after the game. I
And oh yeah, going back to the hurt, I felt hurt because of those guys. You
yeah,
know,
you hurt for them. Yeah.
I hurt for them.
Mhm.
And because I know they were much more capable of putting out a better
Totally.
performance than what they did.
Mhm.
And it just had to come back down to Indiana. And it's basically the same show. It's the same story as last year with
Mhm.
Ohio State. So that's why it hurts.
I think I was annoyed. If I were to
Yeah.
sum it up into one word, I was just like, seriously? Like again? Like
Yeah.
I texted my wife like midway through the first quarter, maybe into the second quarter, and I was like, I have been at way too many of these big Oregon games and had this exact feeling in the first half. That's like the game's already over. Like last
Hmm.
year in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State, like Washington in the Pac-12 title game, they're down, I think 21 nothing. It's just like you've got this feeling. It's like, man, we're really doing this again. Like our season is going to end this way twice in a row where you're like, you think you're good enough to win the championship. You know, it's a game with probably the two best teams in the nation. And it's like, I thought they were better than that. And they
Yeah.
are better than that. I know they are. They are better than they showed in that game. But I was just annoyed that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like that
that
word
we
too.
let
Annoyed.
ourselves think it could be more. And like I still think it should have been more, but just the to get that hyped up again. And we always say every
Yeah.
year we're ready to be hurt again. And it's like, all right, well, the hurt came again. And I just wonder when it's not gonna come. I just wonder when Oregon's gonna get over that line and be able to be happy after a season rather than embarrassed.
Yeah. I would say annoyed is a good word as well.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't say 9 out of 10. I would say watching that game, 7 out of 10 times if we played them, we're not. I guess after that one, you have to go probably 50-50. I guess now, to
Yeah.
be real, 50-50, you get that performance. And another
Yeah.
five, you get an actual better performance to give yourselves a chance. I liked, how our defense was playing early on in the game when it
Mhm.
was relatively,
when it was still a game.
Some hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were giving them short fields, and whenever you give them short fields, it's hard to really hold down and anchor down and keep guys out of the end zone. So when you're talking about turnovers, um, it's all about field position too, right? You don't want to turn the ball over because you're making it easier for their offense. And that's the reason why sustainable drives, winning on third downs, not punting the ball away on 3 and outs, those things add up to where late third quarter, it's either this is a close game or it's a blowout.
I'm reciting this stat. I don't know if it's exactly accurate. I don't have time to look it up right now, but it was close to this. I think that or the Indiana scored 3 of their touchdowns with 48 total yards. Like all they needed was 48 total yards to score 3 of their points, or 3 of their touchdowns. Like that's the short of field that Oregon was giving them. Oregon gave up 28 points off turnovers. Oregon outgained Indiana's offense in this game and still lost by 34 points. Like those are the things, and it's just, and you mentioned it earlier too. Like part of what makes it so frustrating and annoying is like I don't hate Indiana. Like I really do.
It would have been better.
Their team.
It would have been way better if I hated them.
Exactly, but it's like it's tough to get mad at them because like, damn, this team is really good. I respect the way they're doing it. I respect Signetti. Like I like him as a coach. I think he's a funny guy. I like his dry sense of humor. Their quarterback is a bit quirky and weird, but he by all means seems like a great kid. I talked to Kenyon this weekend and he's like, yeah, I interviewed him and this is one of the best football players like mentally I've ever seen before. So it's just like it's tough to get mad at them, but it's just frustrating that that we celebrated when the bracket came out that we were on Indiana's side and not on Ohio State and Georgia's side, and then it's like, oh well, we should have been on the other side because this is not the draw that we wanted.
Yeah, it really didn't matter which side we were going to be on. We were going to get our sides knocked in.
Yeah, that's true. If you could. Again, I like this one word thing. If you could sum up in one word, how were you feeling after that opening pick six?
Confused.
Okay.
Confused. Yeah. I don't want to go into the antics, but like he should not have thrown that ball.
No.
And if you actually go through the progression of the actual play, like it's not a bad play call. And that's where confused. We'll just leave it there.
I think it was like I was a combination of just like shocked and like in a daze. You were there.
Yeah.
That noise and that crowd pop is the loudest thing I have ever heard. Being in the dome, it was, I think there was 80,000 fans there around there. 75,000 of them were Indiana fans, at least. That was the loudest thing I ever heard. My body started having like fight or flight reflexes. I was like, oh, this is too loud. Like I need to get out of this. This is not.
He was having an anxiety attack.
I was having an anxiety attack right there. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. So, but then, similarly, how did you feel after Oregon's 15-play touchdown drive to tie it up? How much did you allow yourself to believe then? What was the swing for you there?
So if you're listening to this podcast, the first few plays of a game dictate how the players are feeling about this game. That first drive led by our quarterback, that pick, it had me confused. The following drive, I knew there's a script. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is great. The script works. The play calling works.
They had a plan, yeah.
They had a plan. They had a great plan. And this second drive was supposed to be this first drive, right? So we're playing catch up. So in my mind, I never really gave myself like complete, change of feelings. It was more so like, okay, we got to stack it. We got to keep doing this. We got to sustain. Like if we have 3 more of these types of drives, then we can get back into the groove of things as far as the control of the game, because that's what you want in these football games. These you're playing a high power, um, Big Ten Indiana Signetti football team, 23-year-old average on the squad.
Yeah.
Boys ain't playing around. They got bills to pay. They got probably kids at the house, on formula, and they trying to make they trying to make a statement. They trying to get to the league, man. They ain't got time for this. And so you gotta be able to keep them boys off the field, right? On offense, and have them boys on defense getting wore out. And we didn't do any of that. And so that second drive, it was a great drive, but in my mind, it was supposed to happen, right? Because that was the game plan. I think that we have good coaching. We have a good coaching staff that can understand how they're going to go about giving their players confidence through the script, right? I think we lost our confidence the first play of the game.
I was really impressed with that drive because it would have been so easy for them to come back out and still be shook. I mean, everyone in that stadium that was, related to Oregon or wearing green and yellow was shook after that first play. And so for them to have that drive, I think they completed 5 first downs. Jay Harris, who we should talk about, was incredible in that drive.
Yeah.
Really good all game. Like I felt great about our early stance that he was a good player. Really major respect to him for this game, but I felt impressed after that drive because that was something that we never saw in the first game against Indiana. Oregon's ability to move the ball that soundly, and for them to punch it in with a beautiful touchdown pass to Jamari over the middle on 3rd and long. It was like, all right, like here we go. Now it's a game. I know you're, behind where you wanted to be. You should be leading 7-0 instead of tying the game 7-7, but that was impressive to me. I'm curious, when is the last time in this game that you actually allowed yourself to believe that Oregon could win or keep it close? Like, when's the point where you're like, okay, this is over?
Once Dante Moore had that weird fumble snap throw,
the RPO,
the RPO on the RPO.
Same. That's my answer too.
I just kind of, man, this is just not our day. The running back wasn't aware of his distance from the quarterback. Obviously it's an A gap, downhill option, and he had to carry out his fake. It seems like it just looked like it was something they didn't practice or something, and so when that happened, it was just like, man, it's just not their day. And sometimes you have a bad day, and that just somehow happens to be, for us, the most pivotal games in Oregon's history.
It's just classic.
The Rose Bowl last year, this game this year, you lose in that fashion where you're not fundamentally sound. You're not trusting. You're just missing out on the finite details. And so that just wasn't our game to be in.
I talked to Will Stein after the game. We got locker room access, and I got a little one-on-one with him. And I just asked him about that play, and he said, "It's like that was just a freak play, man." He said that they have practiced that play, 1,000 times before.
See,
he's never seen that happen once. And he's like, that's how this day went for us. That's how it was. That was a freak play. That's what our game was. I'm like,
so I guess we're right.
Again, classic that Oregon has this freak play happen on the biggest stage possible. Just classic Oregon fans. That's why we're having another therapy session. It's just so frustrating. I asked the same thing last year, which also makes this incredibly frustrating. But how does this result change your view of the season? Like, do you still see this season as a success, or is it slightly dampened now because of the way it ended?
No, it doesn't change my feelings about the season. I think we lost to the national championship team. In my mind, I think they should win it. So
I think they will.
I think if you are upset that Oregon didn't beat, the boys with the natty, then I can understand your expectations. But we had a very solid season. We got to see some really good football out of Dante Moore. Got to see Kenyon Sadiq be a freak. We got to see Jamari come into his own as a tight end on this squad, and got to see an offensive line that, for the most part, they were a law firm. They did protect and they did serve, the backfield and the quarterback, and Dan Lanning, once again, just being Dan Lanning as a head coach with his quotes, post game, pre game, all the things he that all lived to be exciting. The USC game that I got to experience was a fun game, and it did not disappoint. Malik Benson, he was a highlight for me this year. I loved the way that guy stepped up and executed on on the behalf of receivers not being available. And then the Jordan Davison kid, man. That's somebody that I'm very, very, very excited about. Him and De'Aaron Hill Jr. Their future is going to be so bright, and I hope they literally build this offense in the offseason for these guys. You build this offense for a 13 personnel. You want to F around, you gonna find out type of mentality.
Yeah.
Like that's what if I'm the new offensive coordinator, like if I'm Dan Lanning, I love that DNA. Because you have Decorian, you're gonna have speed, right? You're gonna have your guys, but one thing that nobody wants to do is line up and go
Be
blow for
physical.
blow.
Yeah.
And I think you look at how Indiana is put together; they're put together just like that. And I
Yeah.
think our secondary,
So
they're
good.
young. They're going to be so good. I think we got a freshman DB that's like 6'4"
Coming
that's
in,
coming
yeah.
in.
A new safety
So
coming in, I think 6'5", Jet Washington.
So we're gonna have some guys that that will be developed into hopefully starters early on in the season next year. So I'm excited, man, about how this season went, and we still are glowing amongst um, other teams that people claim to be top tier. I still think we had a solid season.
Yeah, I think that's a very refreshing look at this for sure. I envy your perspective there. I think this is also an answer that, if we had recorded on Saturday night, my answer to this question would be far different than what my
No,
answer is now, because
my answer
it
would have been
was
something along the lines of Usher. I don't know if you saw my Instagram reel that me and my
I
wife
didn't.
made, but I was dancing in the rain, sad, because I was all so emo about that
Yeah.
game. But you're right, though. Perspective would have been different.
Yeah, I mean, I just again was so annoyed and just frustrated and mad at myself and all of us for letting us like get our hopes up again. But now looking back, it's like, yeah, like this was, go back to the early in the season, what we always said about this year was kind of the setup year, thinking that this was, we'd see how far they got this year, but then you get the experience and you show what you can do next year, and next year's a championship year. And that, none of that ever changed. We just kind of got expectations that it could be this year too. So
Mm.
um I'm curious going forward, like, Oregon has these back-to-back years of losing in embarrassing fashion on the biggest stage to end the season. What needs to change to make sure that doesn't happen again? Is there anything that you see that needs to change, whether it's coaching, play style, like DNA, culture? I'm just curious if anything jumps out to you.
Maybe it's DNA. Who I look back at this game. And obviously, Jordan Davidson being hurt, I think that was huge in the sense of like
Mhm,
our DNA. Like, how are we going to start the game off, right?
mhm.
Start the game off and gun. Like, I get it. We've been doing that all year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not really a big fan of that though.
Mhm.
Um, I'm a fan of lining up, beginning of the game, be the team that is dominant within the trenches, within the tackles, and we're okay with getting 5 yards on the first play.
Mhm.
I
That'd be
want
great.
5 yards.
Would love 5
Every,
yards.
every game, we're going to get 5 yards and we're going to run it. And if you stop us, you're going to have to stop it again.
Yeah.
Like that to me is the better mindset, in my opinion, than catching guys off guard,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when you're able to do what you want to do, like control the line of scrimmage, meaning move guys out of the way, get to the next level onto the linebackers, you're imposing your will,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not their will, it's ours. You don't matter today. You're in our way. And I think if they, and I'm saying they had it. They've had the tools to do that. They've had games where they did that. So I would like to just, build on top of that.
I want more veteran voices in the coaching staff. I think that's what I just kind of want to see how that that does nothing. But I want, it's such a young coaching staff. I think I don't know who the oldest guy on the staff is, but I don't think they're much older than 50,
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see like a veteran passing game coordinator or someone on the offensive staff that just can kind of bring some experience. Again, I don't know if that would make a difference at all. That's just something I kind of want to see just to see what it changes.
Yeah.
As far as your, grieving process, where do you feel like you're at? Like, how is this game sticking with you right now? Are you kind of over it? Are you good? Are you still thinking
Yeah,
about this every day? What do you feel?
I'm good actually, man, because I think last year Ohio State that that hurt more. Or
Did it? Okay.
it stung more. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
I think it might have.
I think my expectations then, after beating them the first time around,
Hmm.
it stung more because of the situation. We had a month off, and it's like all these reasonings of like, well, dang, we don't know. We don't really know what the outcome should have been if this was
Uh-huh.
handled correctly.
I agree.
This year
Yeah.
around, it's like, okay, there's really no excuse. We just lost.
Yeah.
We lost to a really good football team. And, I think, you know, there's really not a lot I can say that could have been done differently besides not making mistakes.
We
Don't
always
make any
knew.
mistakes and you win this game.
Yeah. We always I think deep down, we didn't admit it for sure, but I at least knew that this was a possibility. I think
Yeah, you
if you
definitely
were,
did.
I did. I mean, I've been the realist
It's your
of
fault
this
then.
podcast for sure.
It's your fault then.
I don't.
We
Did
blame
any of you?
we pass off all the reasonings for why the Oregon Ducks lose this game is because of
Okay,
Zach.
okay, I'll be the straw man. Sure. Did no part of you going into this game believe that it could get ugly with an Indiana win?
Not that ugly.
No, not that ugly. Yeah, I didn't think it would be a 34-point
I
blowout, but
I
I
I
did
ca-
believe they could win by 14.
I didn't think it could be 14. I thought it could
Okay.
be like, okay, we're losing and we have a chance to win at the end type of
Okay.
game.
Mhm.
So, but hey, man, what do you know? We're off to new and better things.
It's true.
New year, new us.
Yeah.
2026. This is our year.
Okay. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Anything else on this game before we move on to some transfer stuff and off-season talk?
Nah, man. No, not at all.
Okay.
I washed my hands clean of it. I think Dan Lanning, people that are over here hating on Dan Lanning right now,
Stupid.
they need to go ride a bus. Go
Stupid.
ride a Greyhound to New York.
Just fun.
That sounds fun.
That sounds awful.
Go think
Uh,
about your
uh,
mean thoughts.
yeah, I think that was a good therapy session. I
Hmm.
feel more cleansed for sure. Got something off my chest. All right,
Yeah.
before we move forward, I want to tell you guys a bit about Backer, outerwear company founded by an Oregon alum that Jay Stu and I had the pleasure of working with recently. Really good stuff, high performance materials. As the off season is now here, I plan to get out and golf a little bit more. Hopefully, my schedule allows for that. Jay Stu, I'm sure, will do the same. This is great stuff for golfing. It's really great material. Go to backer.com. That's bckr.com. Use our promo code BELIEVE10 at checkout for free expedited shipping and 10% off your purchase. Again, that's bckr.com. Promo code BELIEVE10, BLEAV10 for free shipping and 10% off of your order. Real quick before transfer portal news, Indiana versus Miami. Do you have a pick in that game?
Mendoza.
Yes.
Mendoza, and then Mendoza.
Do you think
Because
it's going to be close at all?
Mendoza, and Signetti and Mendoza.
Yeah.
It's Mendoza. I
Do you
want
have
Indiana to win.
any expectation that it's going to be a close game? Because I don't.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
This is a freaking stud of a football team.
Yeah.
And Miami has a really good defense. Like the defensive line, I think their defensive line's solid.
They've
And
got
so
really good trenches for sure, as any
yeah,
Mario team
and
does.
yeah, and the running back, the running game's there, so they can
Mhm.
control. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Like it could be a blowout.
I think Indiana wins by 10 at least.
Yeah, at least.
Like
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
think it's a
saying.
27-17,
And
31-20
I was made
game.
aware. I was made known that the Cubans down there in Miami are going to be pulling from Mendoza instead of Miami. So
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
he's got the.
it's got the following.
As we record, just a quick note. I see that Minnesota safety Coy Parrish committed to the Ducks. That's good. That also likely means that our coming up conversation about NFL declarations, I assume that Dylan Thieneman is now gone. By the time you're hearing this will be old news, but just showing you a little bit of the process. All right, let's talk offseason. There's a ton to talk about. Where do you want to start? Transfer portal departures, portal additions,
Yeah, it
NFL
doesn't matter.
decisions. Where do you want to go?
Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes' cousin coming to Eugene.
Mini
Man.
Mahomes. All right, let's do transfer additions then. Let's start. We got big news on Monday morning. It was at a nice brisk 7 a.m. local time that it gets announced that Dylan Raiola, Nebraska quarterback, former 5-star, 2 years starting experience, is transferring to Oregon. There's news that he might be okay, like Dante was, sitting as a backup, and whether that means Dante's coming back or Oregon gets another portal quarterback bringing him in. He's okay being the starter in 2027, not 2026. So, what was your thoughts as you saw this morning?
I mean, I was thinking to myself, this is crazy because I think Patrick Mahomes saw a picture of Patrick Mahomes in a Oregon Duck jersey from a bet that he had lost
with Boston,
Texas with Texas Tech, and I think this could be a good situation. He played pretty well at Nebraska. His first year, and his second year stats. He was more efficient this year than he was last year. So there's room for development, room for growth for him, which is what I like. Seems like a good kid. Seems like a good leader. Got good energy. So I think that's something that's very fitting for Oregon. And I think it's a little bit of a different type of energy too, right? A little bit more upbeat. So it's a different look for the offense and how it's going to be carried when he is leading the charge. And if Dante Moore stays, that would be interesting. I would just wonder what that looks like as far as, the competition and what that does for Dante Moore. Does it push him? What does that do to him mentally in this offseason? Because at the end of the day, the best player has to play. So if you're staying around, you're basically staying around to compete against a guy that has some credentials.
I think it's a great move for Oregon. Assuming that this is assuming that Dylan is not going to be the starter in 2026. Like, I think that if Dante doesn't come back, they will go get another portal quarterback. Like, I feel very confident in that. And with Dylan being the starter in 2027, I think that's great because this is a guy who has the traits. He is the former number 2 quarterback in the 2024 class. He is a solid player. He needs more development and a little bit more experience and the proper coaching and the right guys around him. I understand fans not being in on this because largely of the Patrick Mahomes stuff. If you don't know about this kid, he is basically like forged his career in imitating Patrick Mahomes with his number, his hairstyle, his like antics, his mannerisms,
everything about him. Yeah.
His play style. Like if you were to, like, there's stuff on social media, you can find it, like side by side videos of them walking and calling plays and celebrating and warming up. And it's like he does everything trying to be Patrick Mahomes.
Damn.
As a Denver Broncos fan who is not particularly a major fan of Patrick Mahomes, yes, that has annoyed the crap out of me. I'm willing to look past that because I think he can be a very good quarterback. I think with the right development coaching, he can be a first-round player for the Ducks. So if you can look past that, I think you will like this move. But I do understand at the surface level, people are like, come on, man, this guy, like, this is who we're going to have to root for. Like, I get it. I'm with you there, but I still think it's a good move.
Yeah, same here. If he's winning football games,
exactly,
just be quiet and just pay attention. And technically, if you're gonna imitate anyone, imitate Patrick Mahomes.
It's not a bad guy to imitate. Yeah,
the best quarterback in the National Football League. Nobody was saying nothing about imitating Tom Brady. Is it hard to imitate him? No, it's not, because you're just standing in the pocket.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is just a guy. He's got the traits. I think he can be really good. It's just now we're waiting for that last domino to fall with Dante announcing what he's going to do, and we'll get to other NFL declarations or returners in a second. Let's talk about the other transfers though. Dylan Raiola, the big one. They also got wide receiver Iverson Hooks from UAB. Nice little slot receiver. He kind of fills that Tez Johnson role that they didn't have this year that I think they sorely needed. They thought they'd have it with Gary Bryant, but Bryant was injured for most of the year.
Yeah.
You got former 5-star tight end Andrew Olesh, who was the number 1 tight end in the class last year. Didn't play this year for Penn State.
Yeah.
Great addition. Got an offensive tackle from Yale. Seems like a good guy to bring in for competition. You don't know who's going to be your 2 starting offensive tackles, but this is a guy who can play. 2-year, first-time all Ivy League player, has over 2,000 snaps at right tackle. So good veteran guy. Bring him in, like high upside, high floor. Like I think he'll be solid there. And then a defensive back, Carl Williams, the 4th from Baylor, comes in. Another guy, good experience. He was injured this past year, so he didn't play, but can be kind of like your Jaden Kennedy, like under the radar transfer who ends up being a really good player for you. So we'll see with him. I think you just trust the coaching staff that if they like him and they want him, like, sure, who am I to say no? Any of those stand out to you? Any of that you saw today was like, oh, okay, I really like this kid. I like that addition.
Yeah, I like the addition of the Penn State kid. Tight ends, again, going back to what I was saying earlier about what I would like to see, the 13 personnel, right? So he fits that prototype with Kenyon Sadiq, basically getting up out of here. He declared, right?
He's not declared yet, but it's like he's going to declare. It'd be wild.
You'd be a fool if you didn't, boy. If you ain't got the counsel, make sure you call Uncle Stu. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I think he needs to declare. And also, I mean, like I just said, breaking news a few minutes ago, I didn't have him on my list, but Coy Parrish, safety from Minnesota, now coming, which I believe means Dylan Thieneman is gone, because Coy is probably, I mean, he is like basically the exact same thing as Thieneman was last year. Like he is going to be, if not the best safety, like one of the best safeties in the nation next year. He's an incredible player, really good special teams returner. That's a big transfer. I can't wait to dive in more about him after this. That's a big deal for Oregon's defense.
That's huge, man. Yeah. And also just formulating that whole veteran role too.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the young guys.
Let's go to, before we get to transfers out, let's go to NFL departures and people coming back, because that leads into the transfers out. Sunday afternoon was wild because you got Mateo Uiagalelei, Tatum Tuioti, and Amari Washington all announcing they are coming back.
That's huge.
Entire starting defensive line with Bear Alexander is all coming back. They were one of the best defensive lines in the nation this year, and they're all coming back for another year older, more experienced, bigger, stronger. That's incredible.
That's
That's the
incredible.
stuff that championship teams are built on, is foundations
Yeah.
like that. Major news.
Yeah, huge news. I mean, you have a defensive front that has been so dominant in so many games this year, and it becomes a nucleus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you look at this team going forward next year, you say, hey, what are the core parts of this football team?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to list those three guys.
Absolutely.
Because that's solid, and I'm super happy. Because obviously, if they all could have been first and second rounders this year.
Amari Washington had a first round grade. He was
Yeah,
on big boards like as a top 20 player. Like he was a first round pick this year. And he said, no, I'm going to come back one more time. It's like,
yeah.
that's
All right,
insane
cool.
to me.
Thanks.
But thank you. I'm excited to watch you for one more year in an Oregon jersey.
Yeah. So that's exciting. And I'm
But
pretty sure the secondary is happy about that as well because it alleviates the
definitely.
pressure.
Yeah. So we're still waiting on obviously the news from Dante. By the time you're listening to this, it may be out. We'll see. He has until all of these guys have until Wednesday night, I believe, the 14th, to declare or announce that they're coming back. So Dante, Dylan Thieneman, who we think was gone, Jamari Johnson has yet to announce, and Kenyon Sadiq has yet to announce. So those are the guys we're waiting on. The defensive linemen, it led to some outgoing transfers, understandably, because, these guys thought that they were going to be starters, and then the entire starting line comes back. So Oregon saw 6 defensive linemen announce their departures on Sunday. So far, they've had 25 total transfers. Sunday was crazy. They had 10 transfers out, 6 of them on the defensive line. Did that concern you at all? I mean, for me personally, it's like, no, this is business. Like that.
No, it's starting to understand. If you're experiencing this for the first time, you're starting to see the showcasings of what the transfer portal is actually all about.
Yep.
And you got guys that, and it makes sense for this situation. You got returning starters, not just starters, but all Americans. Basically, like coming back, and you're like, oh, I thought I was going to start next year. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to play. I'm a good player. I'm just not going to play next year. And I should be playing next year. And it's no beef with you, Oregon. It's just that I want to play.
Yeah.
And I get that, right? And especially if you are a good player. If you ain't a good player and you just need to develop and you're just trying to get up out of there because you feel bad for yourself and you're feeling all whatever, there's people for you. And then there's people for what we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I believe these guys that are choosing to transfer out are guys that just want a chance to really showcase their readiness. Their readiness. Look at Jaden Lamar, running back. He's going to UW.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously sees the bright future that Jordan Davison and Dier he'll have, and doesn't want to embark on that, right? And so he wants to go to UW. We'll talk about that later.
You could have picked a different school, but that's
but he's from Washington.
He's from Lake Stevens. It makes sense.
And to me that I'm looking at that kid. I'm saying to myself, man, you basically riding a dream come true. Like this is you came to Oregon, and you worked yourself into an opportunity to be talked in the group of guys that can come in and be an impact player. So.
I agree. And this is just like you said, this is just the new age of college football. Like the days of Alabama and Georgia being dominant year after year, a lot of that was because there was no transfer portal and they could hold on to 4- and 5-star kids for 3 to 4 years and develop them until they were juniors and finally ready to play because the 4- and 5-star kids ahead of them graduated out. Now, it's just you can't ask 4- and 5-star kids to sit and wait for any longer than 2 years and not see the field. It's because these guys can get paid at a school like Oregon. These guys can get paid elsewhere and have a path to the NFL and have a path to playing time elsewhere. I agree for someone like Tion Gray or Ashton Porter or some of these guys that are getting meaningful snaps but can be starters elsewhere. Go get your money, man. Go get in line to see solid playing time. The one person that I don't know if frustrated is the right word because it's his life, it's his decision. Someone like Toby Hastrup, who is a true freshman who has not played much football before, picked it up in high school, but has all of the tools in the world. Is just a freak athlete, just needs to be developed. He entered the transfer portal, and it's like, I think he could have, I mean, he was a true freshman this year. He could have stayed for his redshirt freshman year, gotten some snaps, and then become in 2027, and then you're that guy.
Them the guys that we talking about.
I wish he stayed.
You was here for 1 year,
man.
Boy. 1 year.
1 year.
Just hold on. You might have gotten into the mix next year.
I'm not joking that this kid is like the upside of a Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, he has the tools. He is incredible. Talking to Tosh about him, he's like, this guy is a freak.
It's all right, man.
Athlete.
Look, he can come back if he needs to come back, just like Dante Moore came back.
Yeah. I wish that he stayed. I really do.
Yeah.
Other transfer out, Cooper Perry, wide receiver. That one was tough just because I liked him. I thought he had a high upside as a possession receiver, but I think all the others were pretty expected. I don't know. Are there any? It's been a crazy 48 hours.
Jay Harris. Good luck to Jay Harris and his
Kansas
career.
State. Good for him. Yeah.
Good for him. Didn't get the burn that he wanted until facing the Indiana Hoosiers as your first start. And you took. He made the most of it. I think
it was damn impressive, man.
I like the run that he had. That made sense for his play style, his run style. Some of the plays that were called for his run style didn't make any sense.
The pass catching too.
The pass catching was huge. The pass catching was huge. Definitely has a little bit of a Le'Veon Bell-esque to him, and that's
what we talked about 2 years ago.
Yeah, and so I hope that he is a top 5 back next year, and that he is respected amongst the ranks of the college football talk next year, and good luck, Kansas State. I don't know how good y'all gonna be, but make sure y'all give my boy the rock.
Yeah,
if you want a good game, if you want to win games, gotta give him the rock, man.
Yeah, he's someone I am absolutely rooting for. I like his story. I like his demeanor. Yeah, I'm proud. I'm happy that he got his chance to shine, and I think made himself some money that night. I don't know what his NIL deal was with Kansas State or what it would have been before that game, but I know that he might have added at least a 0 to that check. So that was good to see. Anything else to add? Do you want to throw your full support behind my Broncos now that your Panthers, their valiant run?
Hell no, I ain't going with these Broncos. What's wrong with you?
You sure?
I'm absolutely positive. Y'all about to get the dog breaks. Y'all about to get walked. Listen, you know what the walk and the dog is?
Yes, I do.
You're about to get the dog walked on y'all.
I think I might agree with you.
Drake May and company about to put it to you.
Yeah, they're good. Well, that's if Josh Allen doesn't put it to us first. So we'll see. I honestly don't know that this Broncos team is going to go deep either.
That's who I play. I'll play Josh Allen first. Yeah, Josh Allen is it in Buffalo?
No, it's in Denver. Number 1 seed, baby. We got home field.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Hey,
come on.
Look, too much Josh. It's too much Josh for Josh Allen for y'all.
I don't know. We'll see.
He's gonna have a 1 touchdown pass game, 2 touchdowns rushing, 60 yards rushing, 250 passing. One of them games.
I know. I can just see
Shaq Thompson gonna pay. Shaq Thompson. Bo Nix ain't gonna know what's gonna hit him. Shaq Thompson studied under Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, he's a player. He's a player for sure. All right, well, we'll see what my mood is like on our episode next week.
All right, man.
That'll be interesting.
We'll see. We'll check in. Yeah. All right, dog.
All right, you can check out more of my work, ducksmart@usatoday.com. Follow me, Zachary C. Neel on Twitter. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter @JonathanStewR1. Myself, Zach Neel, my co-host, Jonathan Stewart. We'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.